Welcome to Stop Dating Losers. Get your free relationship advice on my website. Subscribe and share this video with everyone you know, and let us go ahead and begin, shall we? Alright, first comment of the show. 70% of broke boyfriends will dump their girlfriend once they become financially established. They are just with you because you are what they can afford now. Wow, really? I don't know where she got such a statistic from, but I will say this. That's not true. Broke boyfriends? What happened to the love? Where's the love? That's my first question for this woman here. What happened to the love? So you only care about how much money he has in the bank? Is that what you're trying to say? I really doubt, how was such a statistic even conducted? How reliable is this magical statistic, I wonder? Nobody's going to question it because people are afraid to question statistics. Broke boyfriends. From whose perspective? I wonder. So, dump their girlfriend once they become financially established. You know, if they're happy, I don't see why they would. Now, if they're with a girlfriend where, she's not just fulfilling his needs, then sure. You guys are still boyfriend, girlfriend. But this actually happens in marriages too, where financial situations change, they adjust, and maybe one or the other is more wealthy and okay. So your partner might all of a sudden become expendable. You or your partner. But what does that mean? That means that there was never love to begin with. So it's a good thing if you get dumped by your boyfriend, but you should have known better. Because I'll tell you what, when you guys truly fall in love, you guys this would never happen. In the marriage vow, the very famous marriage vow, you say through richness and poor, rich or poor, all that good stuff. Well, that's part of what love is. And, because they're what they can afford now, well, no. Even a high maintenance woman, she should be able to take care of her own needs. If she's high maintenance, she shouldn't rely 100% on her boyfriend or husband. But even if that's the case, if the boyfriend or husband can afford her high maintenance and there's true love in there, I just really highly doubt that somebody's going to leave you just because they're more wealthy. The only way that would happen is if the love is not strong. And that's the responsibility of both partners in a relationship. A couple is very responsible for that possibility because that means that your relationship is fragile if this sort of thing happens. And it doesn't have to be financial. It could be he meets another woman who's much more exciting on the side. Yes, that happens. I'm not talking about cheating, but somebody, maybe an acquaintance, a co-worker, that sort of thing. Sure, the temptation could be there if the relationship is going south. But whose responsibility is that? Whose fault is that? I'm not putting the blame solely on the woman here. But I will say that if the relationship is not strong, it's both your faults. And I just have to leave it at that because I don't know where you got 70% from. But this whole focus on finances, they always say, which is true, that financial situations is a major cause of most breakups, especially during the holidays. But that's another conversation for another time. But what I will just say to conclude this comment here, when you guys, I have to repeat it one more time, when you guys are truly in love, there is no way you're going to leave each other. It doesn't matter if you strike the lottery, if you win the lottery, it doesn't matter. If you're everything that he can possibly fantasize and imagine in a woman, 100 women in one, he's not going to leave you. But if you're a lazy, I don't really care, mediocre, I don't want to really, well, then don't be surprised. 70%, right? or whatever that real percentage is. All right, next comment on the chopping block. I don't argue with people about their dating requirements because that's their preference. As for me, I do not date men who didn't go to college, who don't have a passport. What? Or who grew up without their fathers. I found severe misalignment when any of those are absent. Oh boy. What is this, like ordering a pizza for delivery? What is this? Okay, so you have preferences, but riddle me this. What good is a college degree when it comes to love? There are plenty of people with college degrees. I have a college degree, by the way, a bachelor's degree. But that never changed me as a person, as a passionate man, truly in love. It doesn't matter what kind of degree I have. So my concern is with you. I mean, I know everybody has a right to preference, but really? Who didn't go to college? You'd be surprised how many idiots who graduate college, they haven't learned anything. And I call them idiots because they don't change from, I'm not talking about what grades they get, if they passed or whatever. No. They're still immature. They still don't care about who they're with. And they probably are part of that previous comment, the 70% who will leave their girlfriend once they get the job that college set them up to get, if they're lucky enough, fortunate enough, right? You can't base somebody's loyalty and quality just because they went to college. I'm actually against that type of thing. It doesn't mean the person's going to be more educated. It just means that they passed the tests and they got the grade. They got the degree. That's all it means. All right, so in a passport, how does that change? Wow, I really have to dog down on this preference here. These preferences are really poor. I really have to. It's complete dog water. It's really sad. A passport? Seriously? All right. A passport and a college degree and grow up with, okay, what if their father died? What if I just don't understand these ridiculous requirements here. And this is a serious woman we're talking about. Severe misalignment with any of those that are absent qualities. She really has her head in the sand, I really have to say here. This is absolutely ridiculous. What a circus. Okay, he has no control over if he grew up with the father or not. And many people, like I had a father who was very pathetic when it came to teaching me anything. When it came to wisdom, responsibility, future responsibilities. He pretty much set me up for failure as a father. I had to be my own father and teach myself wisdom and intelligence myself. And I grew up with a mother who turned into a monster in the end. I had to be my own father and in a way my own mother, if you think about it. I had to learn compassion and passion, figure out relationships and love on my own since the age of 13 when I was first curious about it. So this requirement, growing up with a father, without a mother, or any combination you want, it's really stupid. A passport and college degree, my goodness. I can't really say much more than what a just useless comment there. She has her head in the sand. She has no idea what to look for when it comes to love. All right, next comment. 45-year-old single dad in Lulling, LA, taking applications. Oh my goodness. What is he, a product? If any ladies are local and interested. By day, I'm an engineer. By night, a dad teaching kids to paddle and pitch tents. Closing on land in Mississippi. Camping soon. Retirement later. Okay, I don't know what that means. If you're up for adventure and honesty, we'll get along. Message me if interested. Leave your location, age, and a bit about yourself. Here we go to ordering pizzas again. It doesn't work that way, Mr. 45-year-old single dad in Lulling, LA. You need to get your butt outside. It's, you don't just post this nonsense online and then like you're digitally fishing for women out there. I highly doubt that it's going to work out for you. And at best, you'll get some mediocre, maybe around the same age as you woman, or a highly interested woman in that retirement fund you got going there. Maybe a gold digger. Pretty much the worst of the worst online. If dating wasn't so bad, how do you think online dating is going to work? It's twice as bad, if not even worse. The gambling of making dating work offline is already a humongous challenge. Most likely it's not going to work no matter who you go out on dates with, because you're trying to live life in the fast lane. It doesn't work that way. It's friendship. Get to know each other. Not dating. But people who insist on being stubborn and learning the hard way, running into the, head first into a titanium wall, a 10-foot thick titanium wall, and then they don't even know what to do next. These are the type of people right here. Completely just oblivious to the amount of ridiculousness in just posting stuff like this online, digitally fishing for women. It's not going to happen. And if you get anybody who bites on that hook of yours, it's not going to go well. But go ahead and learn the hard way. My goodness. What a circus. All right, next comment. Me trying to find my soulmate without going out, not on any apps, while barely shooting my shot and never taking DMs seriously. All right, direct messages, right? Okay, this looks funny. I get it. We got Professor Xavier there from the X-Men. I understand. It's pretty much a joke. But it's not a joke because it does apply in real life. You don't find your soulmate. That's not how it works. You find somebody who has what it takes to go above and beyond and ultimately, hopefully, reach a soulmate status with you. But you won't know until you try, but you have to have the right candidate. But you don't go fishing for them online, and this person, scared of going out and trying to make it happen. I'm glad that he's not on dating apps. Good for you. But not going out because you're scared? You have to defeat your own fears first before you even think about going out there and trying to meet somebody. If you're too scared, forget about it. You'll probably be a loser forever. All alone, stuck with video games, movies, and that's about it. That's all he wrote. So barely shooting my shot, never taking DMs seriously. Okay, but that applies to apps as well. So social media apps, it's all the same. It's all digital nonsense. Okay, so you got to get... There's another guy right here. Probably a younger guy from what I sense here. Just being absolutely fearful of going out there instead of posting stuff like this, because he's posting a joke. The other guy, the 45-year-old, is being serious, posting pretty much asking for resumes as applicants to see if they make a good match, and that doesn't work either. So you got a young guy and an older guy both goofing around. One's serious, one's joking around. So most likely they're going to end up losers forever at that rate. All right, last comment of the show. How we pose to build anything real when people so quick to give up nowadays. All right, as grammatically grotesque as that is, it's true. It's true. Everybody's giving up nowadays. It's a complete state of chaos. It's the dystopian reality that the world is in right now. Now, granted, I wouldn't say every single country and every continent, because it's impossible to be everywhere at once and know exactly what's going on in the realm of dating and love everywhere. The misery and fiasco that dating is, because it is a problem worldwide. But as far as the dating realm, no, it's hard to say. You have traditional countries with traditional folks who do it their way, I find it to be mostly mediocre. No offense to those traditions, but it's got to be spicy. It's got to be hot. But it's also got to be very intelligent and wise. The type of love that you build and maintain forever. But unfortunately, there's lots of abuse worldwide. There's lots of mediocre relationships. They just go through the motions. They don't really feel true love. A lot of people fall in and out of love. And then they realize that they were never really truly in love to begin with. Sparks, not a constant flame. The way it should be. So yes, especially in the United States, it's pathetic. It's absolutely in the wastelands. It's a landfill of laziness, of ignorance, of weakness. Utter, complete weakness. Too afraid to talk about relationships in a serious manner. Too afraid to go out there and try to find the right person. And just because they failed with one or two or three or a handful of women or men, they still give up. Because, the only person they're giving up on is themselves. And then they play the coping game by whining and complaining online 24/7 or whenever they get a chance to. Participating in the foolish gender war, saying it's all women's fault, it's all men's fault. It's just immaturity galore. The United States is, I would have to say, notoriously known for a bunch of failures when it comes to the realm of love. It's an absolute snooze fest as well. For the relationships that they say are working, there's probably just a few, I would say, in the grand scheme of things. I'm not going to put that into numbers because that's pretty much not possible to do. I would just say the majority of relationships by far are in a state of chaos. With the divorce rate, with the breakup rate, with the gender war. It's like a bonfire with the gender war. Nothing but immaturity and ignorance and weakness everywhere. So do with that as you will, but that's my solid opinion. I've seen so many more cases around me with real love going on in Europe, but not everybody. There's lots of mediocre relationships over here too. But what I will say is that I would take Europe over the United States any day, because at least you have the majority of people far more mature when it comes to talking about relationships, being serious about relationships, and seeking help when it comes to relationships. Yeah, absolutely. Europe takes the cake. They take the trophy. The United States, like I said, it's a wasteland of everything negative you can possibly imagine. So this comment right here, she's just wondering why people are so quick to give up nowadays. Well, think about it. They don't go to the gym. They don't eat healthy. The majority of people in the United States, I would say. And they don't practice what they preach. They're strong in some areas in their work, a lot of them, and then maybe in the gym too. But when it comes to love, they're totally just completely weak. I mean, they just get bulldozed. And then they'll whine and complain about it. So it's a mess. It really is. So that's the answer to that question. As best as I can answer it. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could say otherwise, but it's not looking good. Especially when you go online. Oh my goodness, what a circus. And what a snooze fest too, because all I see online are just people complaining about their past failures and complaining about things that they haven't even tried yet. Solutions wise, they just make a bad situation worse. So with that said, if you have a comment that you would like for me to go over on this show, put it down in the comment section down below. This has been Coach Ben. Stop dating losers. Much love, everybody.